listening to Billy and the Bird. What's up, Boudreaux?
How's it going, Kyle?
Oh, can't complain. Alright, Boudreaux, let's get right into this. This is a tasty week with lots of surprises and treats. We'll go right into free agency. Alright.
Let's talk about the Gator Boys spending half their budget on a guy who probably doesn't have the job anymore because
you know what's funny? Oh crap! Let me look it up. I think they spent $1 for every yard that he had.
But I mean,
48 yards. He had 48 yards, Boudreaux. So it was close. It was they spent $1 per yard that he got.
But the funny thing is though, you can't blame them because they had to spend that money because the fence was willing to spend 30.
Is that Joseph? Yeah.
Yeah, Joe was trying to spend 30 for him. So, but that was the biggest name. Big C picking up Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon.
Didn't need to spend anything for that, but I do appreciate the Josh Gordon pickup. I think Big C had the money to burn.
Especially Big C. I didn't think that'd be the person to spend the kind of money like that on, especially on Josh Gordon. But he's if you get to the playoffs, he could be a game changer in those last 2 or 3 games. Macklin for 17 from you.
Yep, needed him. Kenyon Drake was the Miami backup for Ajayi, so that he's gone. He's a smart pickup.
He looked good. Corey Davis, he's got a lot of potential. For $11, you can't complain.
Nope.
Ben Watson's been probably their best receiver. For $10, you can't complain, especially with how bad tight end is. Crowder got hurt, but he the week before he put up a huge game. Then the rest of these are unsuccessful.
I mean, the fact that he got him for $1 more than Reed, that's perfect. That's the dream scenario. You get the guy for exactly as much as he needed. The rest of this is just kickers and defenses with, I think. Oh wait. You with the Jacoby Brissett for $1.
Yep, that worked out well.
Oh man, and then the Ebron was a desperation tight end pickup that did not work out.
Yeah, there was a lot of waiver pickup moves, Boudreaux. I guess we'll run through those real quick. A few just whatever's, tight ends and
same thing, defenses, tight ends, kickers.
But let's see, there was a trade. I guess we'll talk about that real quick. VJ with a perfectly timed trade where he got rid of Doug Martin and Will Fuller, who lost all their value this weekend, for Lamar Miller, who still looks like he can put up decent points every given week.
Yep. It's. I feel sorry for Vance, but when that trade was made, it was actually a pretty even trade, and that's just people didn't feel like it needed to be vetoed. It's also a side effect of the fact that it's just harder to veto. So unless it's a really, really bad trade, it won't get vetoed.
I don't even know was even getting close to. Was that even close to getting vetoed?
I didn't even care.
I didn't vote for it one way or the other. I was gonna let it happen. Anyway, okay. I think let's see.
Oh, one more thing is Sedman dropping Jared Goff for.
That was the big news.
I don't know.
Now
I don't know why.
Jameis out. He really needed. Yeah, he could not have a worsely timed drop.
I don't know why. I mean, in the league where it's very hard to get quarterbacks, if your main one goes out and Goff at least had some kind of upside, I don't know why you're gonna drop him. And now you're probably not gonna get him back without paying some good money because a lot of people need quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Goff's definitely going to be I can't see any way where Goff isn't the highest paid pickup here.
Maybe the Corey Clement, but probably Goff still. Other than that, props to Cecil, who was able to get Chris Ivory because Soyuz had just dropped him because Leonard was fucking suspended for a game on game day.
For missing the team photograph.
Oh, man. Right after Cecil started talking shit, and it's like, by the way, Leonard Fournette's not playing. It was just perfect.
I think Cecil seems to be quiet because every time he runs his mouth, Langto's been dominating him. It's a pretty one-sided rivalry at this point.
It is.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get right into the meat of this then, Boudreaux.
All right. Who you want to start with?
Boudreaux versus Utaro. All right. So Kirk Cousins had a really tough matchup here.
Yep.
He played well despite not having a good statistical game, and all the odds against him.
The problem is this: they got to the goal line and they just ran it in twice, so he's just not getting those touchdowns that he would normally get.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're gonna try to pass against the Legion of Boom.
No.
Yeah, he got vultured twice on the goal line. But yeah, still a good game considering he had no O-line and his receivers are not very good. DeMarco continuing to disappoint. Crabtree, actually, that's kind of surprising that Crabtree only had 40 yards because he was a big part of the game plan. And
Cook was the one that got all the yards in that game.
Yeah, Carr was bombing it, and both receivers were dropping a lot of balls. Cooper still ended up snatching a few, and I think he got a touchdown. Marvin Jones was a big.
That's that Marvin Jones 24-point game.
He's got. I think
came too late.
I think he's the second. He just almost tied Calvin Johnson for like best against the Packers in terms of receiving, something like that. All right, Witten, disappointing, but he's just
tasty defense.
They're actually not that good this year.
Yeah,
they've regressed heavily. Joe Mixon had a nice little game, especially considering it was
got one of his rare touchdowns.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Especially against Jacksonville, it was pretty good. Lions defense a little disappointing. With how well they were actually playing against Green Bay, but they got Cleveland next week. Okay, not much else to say. Half has been. I guess the Saints
was
defense
on bye. Yeah, and that Saints defense non-play is gonna haunt them. But you can't blame the Lions versus Green Bay matchup without Aaron Rodgers is a very strong matchup.
It's the way I would have gone too. He'll get some receivers back this week. Looking at you, Boudreaux, Tyrod got.
That was the most garbage time I've ever seen, and it was glorious.
His line was not looking good. His receivers weren't helping him out at all. Some terrible fumbles, but Tyrod still looks pretty solid. And this was a game where they had no run help. LaShawn didn't do anything. Gurley continuing to dominate. Michael Thomas is a reception monster. This is just one where he didn't get a touchdown, and he didn't have to, with how good the run game was, he didn't have to do much. Macklin did fine. Vernon Davis has been killing it every time Reed's out. Chris Thompson it was a low-scoring game.
I was just saying about Michael Thomas and Macklin just getting yards. It's basically just Taylor and Gurley going nuts and everyone else just getting the yards.
That's how so many teams are this year.
Yeah.
Vernon Davis has been a big beneficiary of Reed being out. He's one of the better tight ends now.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Thompson, just a product of that low-scoring, messy game.
Yep.
Rams defense did good against the Giants. They're a good defense. And then kicker, the Bucs kickers are cursed.
Doesn't matter. I just needed one this week. I was keeping Forbath on the bench.
And Tevin Coleman, I think the only thing to really mention about your bench is Tevin Coleman. Devonta Freeman is a little banged up right now, so that's something to monitor. He's a top 10 receiver or running back if Coleman's out.
Yep.
Or if Freeman's out. Okay. We'll go to me now.
All
right. Me versus Sedman. Sedman on the quest to get his first win of the year.
Not this week.
Nope. Looking at his team, Winston was playing terrible before the half and then got sacked right before halftime. Blew out his shoulder again, and he's going to be missing multiple weeks now, which hurts him even more now that he cut out Goff.
It's just, I don't know why he did that. There's so many people on this team that Goff could be playing instead of, but whatever.
LeGarrette Blount's worthless now.
Yes.
Ajay is definitely going to be the starter.
Mm-hmm. AJ Green got ejected.
Ejected.
But not
Luckily,
suspended.
He avoided the suspension, which is nice.
Yep.
He's got a decent matchup with Tennessee, and Seven's going to need him to have any shot of getting that first win this next week. Curtis Samuel.
Bye-week fill-in. Same thing with Brendan Coleman, just bye-week fill-ins.
Yeah, there's desperation plays. Chiefs defense against Dallas was probably not recommended, but I guess there's nothing else to do.
Nope.
Evan Ingram's been playing very well. He's one of the best tight ends. I guess everyone predicted that when
no one else on that team to throw
exactly.
to.
Yeah, he's basically just their number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Cooks will help when he comes back.
Yep.
Reed's perpetually hurt.
Yeah.
Ty Montgomery, because they were down the whole game.
But he's not even the starter. At this point, it's Aaron Jones.
Yeah,
and that other guy.
You can't play anyone on this team at this point.
No,
until they prove something.
You basically just eject all Packers if you can, unless it's Jordy, because you just paid so much of a price for him.
There was some news that Cheeseburger Eddie was going to be getting a lot of carries, and then he got hurt. And I don't think you can I don't know if he's even worthwhile rostering.
No.
I guess if you're desperate.
Their best running back is Chris Carson. Still, he has the most yards for the Seahawks.
And he's been hurt for yeah, I think I read that statistic too. He's been hurt for like 4 weeks, and he's still got their most rushing yards for running backs. All right, looking at my team, Brissett is a bye week fill-in, played nicely. He just basically force-fed T.Y. Hilton, and that paid off.
That was that
a lot
bullshit
of
T.Y. Hilton touchdown. That was like, oh, he's not touched, and then nobody looked at him, and then he just ran all the way in the end zone, which probably helped that score
out. C-Mac benefited from the 2 Jonathan Stewart fumbles.
Yep.
Got the touchdown, nice little score, whatever. Emmanuel Sanders coming back from injury. Denver were just getting obliterated. Sanders didn't even play the second half.
No.
Parker looked really good, but he's still the receiver 2
76
there.
is still a good yards.
He had some really nice like one-handed catch, like highlight play. But moving on, Hoopers, whatever, just another tight end.
Yep.
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
That screen pass was amazing.
That was ridiculous.
I mean, obviously, I don't think he can keep. I mean, he's got a decent floor.
He ain't scoring 25 every game, but you can probably expect double digits on average, which is really good for your flex play.
Yeah, he's a solid receiver or running back too.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles defense is one of the best defenses.
Yep.
And Greg
the goddamn leg.
Hasn't the worst score is 3, but he hasn't scored less than 9 besides that.
Death taxes and the Rams getting into the end zone and fucking it up, or red zone and fucking it up for Greg the leg. That's basically it.
All right, and then the rest, Brady, Le'Veon.
Let us go to VJ Arbob, because this was a good game that came down close to Monday night, and he barely got out of it.
Yeah, this was a really important game for VJ because he's in that middle class now after a fall from grace. Looking at his team, Cam still isn't doing it with his arms a lot, but he seems like he's good for one splashy 30-yard touchdown rush a game.
I mean, he's got some good matchups against Miami next week, so perhaps VJ can get a win.
Yeah, he's gonna need it. Kareem Hunt
has just I don't know what happened to him, but
he's not been getting he didn't get fed as much this game. He's not him. It's just that offense hasn't been clicking quite the way they were before. Mike Evans got shut down by Marshawn Lattimore and then got suspended.
He had more penalty yards than yards in the game.
Yeah,
and now he's suspended. So it's gonna be hard for VJ to come back.
Doug Baldwin's starting to come to form again. He's looking real good.
Part of that Jayhawks offense.
Safarian Jenkins got the touchdown robbed from him off of a bad call, but yeah,
he had like 2 of them that happened that way.
Yeah, Lamar Miller, he stole from Vance. He's gonna need it from here on out. He's still a solid little play. He seems like he's pretty consistent. He'll get you at least something every week.
Between Hunt and Lamar, he's got a very strong running back core. If Hunt goes back to previous numbers, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what that is, but with those two, he should probably win some games alone.
Yeah, the Jaguars are the best defense.
Oh man,
in the league. They're dominant, and they've got lots of tasty matchups coming up.
Oh yes, Cleveland, the Chargers, Indy, a lot of good games.
Then kicker, whatever. He's got Jack Doyle, who's a decent tight end. He could probably, I think he was trying to flip him, but yeah. Anyway, the rest of his bench, who cares? He's got the Vikings defense. That's also maybe he could flip the defense too. Looking at Arbob, Piggy Boy came in with some Monday Night Heroics.
He needed enough to beat. He needed like 20 to do it, and gets just very end gets that extra points just to fuck over VJ. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, Carlos Hyde got a lot of receiving work here. He got ejected. He could have done even more. He got ejected. I think,
that
in the
was
third
great.
Or fourth quarter.
So many damn fights that day.
I think Hopkins will maintain his value. He's still going to keep getting force fed because he's the only reliable. I mean, he's still their best weapon by a mile.
Even with Tom Savage, Hopkins gets his damn touchdown. I'm not sure if he's matchup proof, but he might be quarterback proof.
Tyreek Hill scored all his points on that the check
Hail
down
Mary screen. That was amazing.
They just they knew Alex Smith can't throw it 50 yards, so they just threw it 10 yards and had to design blockers downfield. O.J. Howard, one catch and he fumbles it.
It almost cost him the game too.
Yeah, he's worthless until James comes back, and even then he's the second tight end. He's not worthwhile. Hearns is whatever. They don't really need to throw it.
I'm not sure if that was just I think it was a bye week fill-in for Stephon Diggs.
Probably, yeah.
But then again, he's
got
Sammy
Watkins.
So.
I guess he didn't have the balls to play Sammy. Sammy only had one catch too. The Panthers defense, he continues to play in not necessarily plus matchups, but he keeps working out, or at least doesn't hurt him too much.
If they don't go negative, they don't go. Why matter?
And then his bench, we've talked about all these guys 1,000 times. I think Sammy Watkins is still probably not too worthwhile.
Ertz being hurt hurts his chances a lot because Ertz was just one of the best tight ends around. And
he's on bye this week, then he should be healthy coming back after the bye.
Exactly. But it's just going to be 2 weeks without him, so let's just see if he can last.
Let's go Soyez Miggs.
All right. This is the shit week, or the shit game of the week.
This was pretty bad. This was pretty much just quarterbacks.
Yes.
Well, actually, you can't even say that. It was Kelsey versus Matt Ryan.
Demaryius Thomas got that garbage time touchdown. It wasn't garbage time, but in this.
Well, no, it was. They were so far behind.
I mean, to be fair, Miggs' entire team was on bye.
Yes. All right. So looking at Miggs' team, Matt Ryan, he's still a decent play. He had that that egregious touchdown drop by Julio. That could have helped him a lot. C.J. Anderson, that offense is terrible, and I don't know that he's going to have much help. I think he got hurt too. That was part of it.
Yeah.
Demarius benefited from the Brock Lobster, just force feeding him. Sterling Shepard, he's the only healthy Giants wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay.
Playable.
Ebron's a desperation bye-week fill-in.
Yep.
It's whatever. Stewart, the 2 fumbles that killed him.
Oh man, you hate to see it happen.
Yeah, Bengals against Jacksonville with I guess the thought was no Leonard.
Yeah, but I still don't know that play. But you say no Leonard. I'm not sure when he picked up the Bengals defense, but I mean, you still don't want to play.
He's had the Bengals defense for a while, but I guess maybe whatever. Will Lutz is a good kicker, but whatever. All right, we already know all the people on his bench.
I don't know. I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I'm not sure why he's still on this team.
Not likely, especially if they keep losing.
Yeah,
they're not going to need to bring him back if they're out of contention.
It says.
All right. Eli in a tough matchup where they got wrecked.
I mean, both these teams had fucking 5 players on bye. So it's just like it was bye week versus bye week. Who's gonna come out of it like surviving? And it just ended up being Travis Kelce getting extra points. That's all this was.
Pretty much.
Landry
got shut down. LeSean got shut down. The Dolphins looked pretty good, I have to say. I liked what I saw from the Dolphins. Their line was killing them. Yeah, that line was killing them. Every time they had a big play, get called back from by holding.
Yeah.
But yeah, Landry's a good play for pretty much every week.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the volume. Funchess is a good play. He's their top receiver now. He's replaced Kelvin Benjamin.
There you go.
There we go. Kelsey's a monster. Cameron Brate got shut down. That whole offense is terrible. Dolphins' defense against Oakland was a ballsy play. They are a decent defense, I guess. At least a decent front 7, but it worked out okay, I guess.
Yep.
And then whatever. All right, nothing more to say.
No, both teams are on bye, and Big C keeps his win streak going. That's the only story from this.
Yep, Big C keeps eking him out. All right, let's go read Ibrahim and then save the last couple ones are juicier.
All right.
Another not great game. This was QB versus QB pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Interdivisional. This is a big win for Ibrahim. Keeps him alive, and a big loss for Reed because it drags him back down to the middle class.
Had such a good start, and now he just can't finish it in the stretch. The fact that he lost to Watson hurts a lot too.
Definitely. I mean, that was something you could have gotten a really good quality player for, especially with how many quarterbacks are just mediocre or bad this year.
Mm-hmm.
Breeze had a Breeze game. He's not having to do a lot, but he's still putting up decent points.
Yep.
Freeman got hurt. He's still okay play, but he's not what he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Golden Tate, he's solid. He gets a lot of volume. He's Piggy Boy's top receiver.
Yep.
Not much. All right. Moncrief, I don't even know why.
Nah, it's just he's dead.
Yeah, he's worthless. Dixon he's just
also dead.
On by. Yeah. Cobb, worthless now. Niners defense, Arizona, whatever. They're actually an okay defense, but they're not anything special. And then Tucker, whatever.
Reed's just suffering.
Whole bench on bye.
Yeah, his whole bench is on bye, and he's just suffering from some poor quarterback play. But I mean, Gronk is going to be back in. I just don't know what he's going to do with this receiving core because he's got Golden Tate, then nobody. And he doesn't exactly have the running backs to back him up, so I don't know. But he'll have to find a way. Looking
at Ibrahim, Wentz is a beast.
Yep.
He's been carrying Ibrahim's team for weeks,
mm-hmm.
but Ibrahim's not complaining because it keeps working. Alex Collins is their the bell cow running back, but they were behind. I think most of this game.
Team's offense still sucks.
Yeah, it's putrid.
Danny Woodhead might be coming back too.
Yes, I believe he'll be back in 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. Yeah. Amari Cooper is also surprising. I thought he would have done better, but yeah, if Carr was flinging it downfield, Cooper kept dropping it.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
He's just not great this year. Cooper Kupp, he is what he is. He's a slot receiver.
One of the few Rams not getting a touchdown that game.
Jared Cook, monster game.
Fed.
Dominated Dolphins, maybe upper and mid-tier tight ends. Titans defense worked out. Houston kicker, cuttable.
You can start Ajayi now, I guess.
Yeah, you can start Ajayi now. Well, next week, after this week.
Ajayi has 2 buys this year.
Kelvin Benjamin's not gonna Well, no, because I guess they did. Kelvin Benjamin's.
Just because like he got traded early in the week, and they're like, yeah, he doesn't know what the fuck he's gonna be doing in this playbook, so we're not even gonna try.
Decker got a touchdown. That's about it. Then everyone else here is
Kenyon Drake.
Oh, Kenyon Drake. Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely looks like the more explosive of the two. He had a fumble, but he looks. They both looked pretty solid, but he looks like the
worth stashing for if you need to flex him.
Moving on. Let's get Andre the Gator Boys out of the way.
Oh man, Gator Boys barely got this one out. Got it.
The Gator Boys, their bench blew up.
Oh man,
they had to be kicking themselves because of how close this game ended up being.
The non-Forte Anderson start for Thursday night must have been just having the worst weekend after seeing that.
We'll start with Andre first, though, real quick. Josh McCown's been a huge for him, especially with Luck not probably playing this year.
Yep.
McCown continues to be a solid producer. Aaron Jones, huge disappointment. They were just down. That offense is worthless at this point.
I guess you still have to start him because you don't have a choice. But without Aaron Rodgers, that offense is useless.
This might be one of those dual tight end scenarios, Boudreaux.
No man.
I don't think you can trust it. They were behind, and then he wasn't also. They lost a couple linemen this game too. It's not looking good. Ginn though surprisingly looking solid. He's a solid receiver too. This year
he's good
for
got
good
like
chemistry with Breeze.
You know he's good for 1 or 2 deep balls a game, and sometimes that's just enough.
He gets some short stuff here and there, but yeah, his bread and butter is definitely the bomb, which Breeze seems like he's good for unleashing 1 or 2 a game. He could have had Breeze overshot him on like a 80-yard touchdown. He would have had if Breeze had thrown a little more accurately. But it is. All right, Sanu had a touchdown, but the Falcons are still a little out of sorts. Julio's still the number one there. Sanu is just kind of he'll get his sometimes, but he's not someone you look forward to carrying you. Watson's solid. Lynch had the 2 touchdowns here, but in general, he's not having an amazing year.
That was still fun to watch. He's been having to start Marshawn Lynch the entire time, and just to see him actually get something for once was good to see.
Jets have been surprisingly competent, so the Bills didn't end up with that much on defense, but at least didn't go negative. Matt Prater kept him in it.
No, but he also missed a field goal. Missed the 55, so he would have won with that.
Kept it close, but not quite enough. He's still one of the better kickers. Looking at his bench, Devontae Adams. Maybe play Devontae Adams because he's still, if you're desperate. Andrew Luck's probably. Oh, Andrew Luck's officially on IR.
Yeah,
so
he's gone.
Yeah, he's got some not great options, but he can at least fill out a roster and maybe win some more.
Mike Wallace might start to become pretty good again, but it's just it's gonna be like a Ted Ginn situation where you're just praying to God he gets those deep balls for the touchdown.
Pretty much. Looking at the Gator Boys, Dak is killing it this year. He's proven that he's not. Last year wasn't a fluke. He's playing really well.
Yep.
That's great. Frank Gore, just doing Frank Gore things. He won't die.
No.
Julio
dropped that touchdown pass.
Dropped that touchdown pass.
Other than that, fantastic game.
Yeah, he's one of the best receivers in the league. It's just they're just out of sorts this year. Deshaun, disappointing, but he might be their receiver 1 next week because it's Fitzpatrick throwing to him.
I don't know why I don't know why they started him over Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's on the rise, and Deshaun Jackson like that. The Tampa Bay team has just been on the fall. I don't know, but like you said, with Evans out, they might just have to give it to Deshaun.
Yeah, Nick O'Leary was a decent fill-in. If it weren't for that fumble, he'd be a little higher. He looked solid, but whatever. He's not really their starter. Amir Abdullah, he looked terrible, but he got the touchdown.
Fumbled twice. He might not have the job after fumbling twice, but we'll see.
21 rushes for 48 yards. He looked awful, but whatever. The Broncos defense still put up 2 points despite dropping
They scored a touchdown against Nick Foles.
Yeah, that saved him.
It was somebody else.
I don't think he can play from here on out.
It was Nick Foles. They took out Wentz, I remember.
Or at least you can't start them unless they have good matchups, which they don't have too many of this year.
No, they're just a lot of those defenses you thought were automatic starts this year, just not doing what they could. But
well, so much of it is the offense is killing them.
Yeah.
The defenses are great, but they're on the field the whole game. Vinatieri also won't die.
Nope. But
Fleener's
that bench.
yeah. Fleener had two really nice catches. Cole Beasley 4 catches, but 2 of them were touchdowns. That's just an anomaly. He has these every few weeks, but it's frustrating. Gallman, they got slaughtered. Matt Forte had a nice little game where he was their workhorse finally and did work.
I think one of the funniest things was in that game when Bilal Powell had like a 50-yard run, and then he had to come out, and then the next play was a Matt Forte 20-yard touchdown. It was like, damn.
Yeah. Robbie Anderson's looking good. Josh McCown keeps throwing to him in the red zone.
Yep.
And a lot of these are just touchdowns, but still, he's got a decent floor, it looks like. Probably their new starter.
Mm-hmm.
Damon Williams, you hold on to just to see if one of those guys ends up taking the full role, but he looked pretty decent too. Maybe not so much on the ground, but a nice little touchdown catch where he landed on top of Jarvis, then hopped off of him into the end zone.
I mean, they picked up both Abdul and Williams, so they're just gonna have to decide which one to start week in, week out. But that's enough of this team.
All right, we got the two tasty rivalries left. Let's go with Joseph and Jesse.
Oh man, this was just
the fence versus Vance.
The fence remained supreme. Poor Vance made that trade, and then Deshaun Watson made the trade, and then Deshaun Watson goes down, so now he's stuck with Will Fuller.
Yeah, looking at his team, Alex Smith is continuing to be pretty solid. I guess actually it was mostly that Tyreek Hill Hail Mary what kept him.
Yeah, he threw a pick at the very end, which really fucked over Vance too.
Doug Martin, that offense is terrible, and he was getting out carried by his backup. Who knows? I don't know if you can start him until they get it together.
Yeah.
Jordy also just killed now with that whole offense being terrible.
Yep.
Will Fuller, they're just gonna force feed Hopkins. I don't know that you can rely on him.
He might. Maybe they just become a little bit better, and he might get something, but I don't see it in the next few games.
Maybe, but I don't know that you can start him until they actually do that.
Nope,
Kittle got hurt.
Yeah.
AP surprisingly playing
was
very
being
well.
Fucking fed. He also fumbled at the end, which hurt Vance, but he was just being fed all damn game because they have nothing else in that team right now.
But still, I guess it worked out. It's what did he trade for him? He traded Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I guess that still ends up working out for Vance because he needs him. He'd be in nowhere without him. Texans defense had a nice little game.
Touchdown.
Yeah. Look at his bench.
He gets Cohen back off a bye, and Robert Woods
is having a nice little game. He's probably the better. He's the only receiver to own there, I think.
With both Will Fuller and Jordy having such bad games, he might have to risk it with Robert Woods.
He's got some okay matchups. Ones where he's going to get blanketed by a shutdown corner.
I think his problem is he doesn't have much money left, and he doesn't have a backup quarterback, and Alex Smith is about to go on bye. He might be playing. He might be playing Brett Hundley next week.
I guess that's why I don't blow all your money early in the year.
Nope.
All right, looking at Joe's team, Russell Wilson does Russell Wilson things.
Joe had like, so Joe's team is officially the Pac-12. It's called the Jayhawks after 6 o'clock, because Joe always plays the 3:30 o'clock game teams, and has like 40 points, and then it's the fourth quarter, and then you just get terrified because then all of a sudden half his team scores a touchdown. Like Russell Wilson will throw it to Jimmy, and Joe just lights up, and it's like, God fucking damn it.
Zeke, as long as who even knows what the suspension is.
I mean, it's great just because every week Joe's stuck with half the Dallas running back core, and then every week he's still just playing Zeke.
Larry had a nice little game, surprising considering they're at the backup, but who knows? They've got a lot of tough matchups coming up.
Yep.
Lockett
part of that Jayhawks offense. Putting in Thielen though when he comes off the bye anyway.
Most likely Jimmy also a little banged up, but at this point he's always banged up. He's still one of the better.
Marquise Lee turned out to be a great play.
They've become a dink and dunker, especially when they don't have Fournette in. So Bortles has just become a game manager, and Marquise Lee is the perfect guy for that.
I mean, you say that, but this is also his first touchdown of the year. Maybe it was just a fluke. Who knows?
Yeah, whatever. All right. So,
Cardinals defense got a bullshit interception at the very end of the game. That was fun. That was also funny. And then Blair Walsh.
Is it 2 missed field goals?
3.
And an extra point?
No, it's just straight up 3 missed field goals. They never went for an extra point because they got the safety, and then they just kept trying to go for 2 and failed twice.
And all his bench was on by. Fat Rob got 2.
Fat Rob had 20 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's all it was.
Yeah,
they fed the ball 14 times and didn't get shit to get the goal line.
I don't know if you saw the play where they fumbled the snap, and then there were like 3 Seahawks in the backfield, and Kirk Cousins like, screw this, and just hands it off to Fat Rob, and Fat Rob gets obliterated.
Poor Fat Rob.
All right, so I guess that's it for that game.
That's it for that. The rest of Joe's team is just the fucking Dallas backfield. We'll see what happens if Zeke doesn't play. That's what that team is.
Yeah, that's going to be huge for Joe because this is not a good time for him to lose his best player. All right, and then the biggest the most anticipated game of the year, pretty much every year, Cecil versus Langto.
Oh, man. I never want those two to not be in a division. It's just too perfect.
At this point, like, it's almost, you almost have to mandate it. All right, so I guess we'll start with Cecil. Derek Carr had not a great game because he had people dropping touchdowns on him. It really wasn't his fault. He played okay, but his receivers were killing him. Chris Ivory did okay, but yeah, you still would have liked Fournette in.
The desperation pickup play, but still, he got what he could.
You could have done worse, but yeah, it's just funny. Fournette gets out because he missed the team photograph earlier in the week, and Dez gets hurt in this game, but he still puts up some points for you.
Dez just not as big as you would think with Dak Prescott going off as much. But then again, Dak runs it in sometimes, so just Dez not going to get it.
He runs it in, he spreads the ball. Terrence Williams will jack touchdowns now and then. Cole Beasley stole 2 from him this game.
Yep.
Paul Richardson, it looks like that last week was kind of an anomaly where, neither of the Seahawks receivers that
he's got
Baldwin
5
really
touchdowns.
reliable.
He's got 5 touchdowns on the year. So the most you can expect out of him is probably like 40, 60 yards and a touchdown, which is okay. Just didn't show up in this game.
I'm pretty sure that's what he is. If I'm not mistaken, Paul Richardson is just a big guy who's great in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Burton, a good bye week fill-in.
Well, the funny part is he dropped Julius Thomas, who ended up with like 14 points. Yeah, so
Burton's worthless from here on out too.
Until
Derrick Henry
once comes back.
Got the touchdown. But
I think he might have the job. I think Murray got hurt, but it's still just the same thing with these two. You have no idea which one's gonna get the ball.
Offense isn't looking great.
Seahawks D though.
Yeah, Seahawks D killing Kirk Cousins, but still, they're one of the best defenses still. They've been going on a tear, and they got a lot of tasty matchups coming up, or at least decent ones. Looking at his bench, Fournette's whatever, Martellus Bennett's cuttable.
Yep.
Rashard Matthews had a nice game, but you can't predict that.
Not at all.
Then the rest are worthless.
Riddick might have the job, but yeah.
I think he just had like one really big catch, and that was it.
Well, no, it's just that because Abdullah fumbled twice now in the same game, like and one near the goal line.
Riddick is much more reliable, even though he's less explosive. He's a lot more reliable, and yeah. Okay, looking at Langto's team. Langto's gonna probably be the one dropping all his money on golf because he's a QB away.
Money.
Yeah. Andy Dalton.
Useless as shit.
This was a really tough matchup on the road against Jacksonville.
But that offense is just not what it used to be.
I mean, he lost all his weapons, and his O-line's killing him. Mark Ingram, this is just the Kamara game.
Yep.
Ingram will have. You never know which one's going to be, but they both have good floors.
It switches between those two. One of them is just going to go off one game. You're just not sure which one. Sometimes both.
Yeah,
But who needs it? Who needs it when T.Y. Hilton is scoring fucking 5 receptions for 175 yards and 30 goddamn points?
Yeah, I think T.Y. Hilton's like the leading receiver in the NFL now, off of only 30 catches for the season.
Damn.
It's insane. Alshon was a big beneficiary of this blowout game, but he's still pretty okay. I guess even though he's the 5th receiver, I don't know that it's quite.
It's one of those things where you might just want somebody on that offense to see what you can do, because it's like they're just scoring.
Yeah,
everything.
no, you play him every game. He's just not quite as scary as you would think. Delaney, he's one of the better tight ends.
Yep.
He's still fine. Buck Allen got a touchdown
I have
here.
no idea who's going to be the running back on that team. I thought it was Chris, but apparently Buck Allen is still going to get in touchdowns, so who knows.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Allen's more of the third down guy, and believe they were down towards the second half of this game, so that's why he was in and got the touchdown. Raiders defense against Miami. The Raiders don't have a great defense.
Nope, and Butker's usually going to get more than 5. I don't know what that was, but he's also going to have to go on bye, so does Langto keep the kicker or not?
Yes, you keep your kickers, Boudreaux.
But he's got his bench is kind of meh, but then again, he's got McKinnon coming back, and I want to see what the Bears defense can do after that 30.
I like Corey Davis. I had to cut him last week. I think he's got potential. You can't play him right now, but you hold on to him, and he could be something down the line, especially for those last few games. He's at least a good insurance policy.
All right, real quick, this week in league history, 2009, Soyez beat Miggs 77-62. And Kyle, apparently you beating the crap out of Sedman is a repeat offense because in 2014 you beat him 108-46.
Nice. Yeah, I wanted to look up. I don't know if I should have looked this up before. Maybe I'll come in at the end of this recording and after look it up. I want to see if anyone's ever gone 0-9 before.
There's only been one time someone's had like one win, and that was Langto. I can't remember the year.
Cecil did it once.
Did he also do it too?
Cecil, Langto did it in 2014, 15.
2014 it was the year of the. He was called the year of the Felix. I don't know why it was called Felix.
Because that's Joe. He got Felixed.
And he won in week 6.
Okay, so I don't think that anyone's going 0-9. I know I never went 0-9. So, yeah, I think 7 might be the first one ever to go 0-9. I wonder if anyone's ever lost 9 straight too. That's another thing. I'll look this up later.
Caveman went 1-12 once. And I don't know when he won his game. Let's find out real quick. He won his game in week 10. So Caveman was 0-9 and won it in week 10.
Oh. All right. Well, Will Sedman get that first win and only tie Caveman's record.
Motherfucker, he beat me for that. God damn it.
You are a very charitable Boudreaux. You broke Langto's streak too that year. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do now is take a look at what we think. Basically, your likelihood of people making the playoffs, your coming schedule, and what we think your odds are. All right. So going down, our ball's pretty much clinched, so we don't care.
Yes.
Boudreaux, have you looked at yourself?
I think I got a good schedule. Soyuz has not been the strongest, and neither has Utaro. I think if I get into that 8 wins scenario, I'm probably in. So I just need to get.
That's pretty much. I think that's the rule of thumb. 8 wins.
8 wins is automatic. 7 can do it in the home stretch. So I think I just need to get some wins in. I think most of my players are off a bye, so I'm gonna start some strong teams in the coming future.
All right, then looking at Joe. Joe's 1 game up on me right now. He's still not quite safe, but he's looking very good. He's got a very good shot. His matchups are Reed this week, which not the toughest, but not a pushover either. Then he's got me. Assuming I don't lose this week, that'll be a fight for the division lead. Then he finishes off the year with Abraham and Vance. Those are both 2 very winnable games. Then after that's me. I've got the opposite. I've got a murderer's row pretty much. VJ, then Joseph, then Arbob, then Sedman. I think it's 50-50. I need to win a lot of those. It's going to be tough. I think the odds are against me, but I could pull it off. I'm one of the higher middle class people right now. Looking at Langto, 1 win and he's set.
Yeah, I think
there's not much to
with
say
his
about him.
schedule, he at least has 1 win. I think he's in no matter what. Reed has fallen a little bit, but his team has somehow shown some promise in certain games, and he's got Ibby again. And I think, let me check his schedule one more time.
He's got to play Joe this week, so that's not an easy matchup.
If Joe doesn't Jayhawk it up, he can win that game. But
which is a very good shot because he's got all his players on Thursday.
But he ends his year out with VJ, Jesse, Ibby, and with 2 of those division games on teams that are just trending as down as he is, I think he gets 2 or 3. He can get those 3 games. If he loses to Joe, I think he can still finish out his season strong.
Then looking at Andre, Andre's got Cecil, which is very winnable. Then Utaro, also very winnable. Then he goes against Langto, which if he's won the last 2, not super important, but that's also not a pushover. Then the Gator Boys, who will probably be fighting for their season at that point. So he's just got a pretty average schedule coming up. He's definitely got a good shot of making it. Especially at 6 wins, he just needs to win 2 of those, which I think is very doable. Yeah, especially Langto might not even be worrying about anything but seeding at a certain point, so he might not be trying as hard as he necessarily would have to. Then after Andre is VJ.
VJ has a very, very tough game next week against Joe. He does not have Mike Evans. He does not have Kareem Hunt. So he's got that challenge. But he finishes out with Reed, Sedman, and Arbob. So he can probably get those Reed and Sedman games if he plays strong, but he's going to have to beat Arbob. And, I mean, he barely lost to him this game by 2, so it's been shown he can do it. He just has to get in week 13, and he'll be in the playoffs. For Big C, he's got 2 tough games coming up. He's got me, and then he's got Langto. But the end of his year, he finishes off pretty easily. He gets that second Migs game, and he also gets a Utaro who's not doing the best. So if he can get a win between me and Langto, I can see him getting into.
The Gator Boys.
For the Gator Boys, they have their bench has shown that they can go off, and they're not the highest scoring team. But with the Gator Boys, that's just the thing. If they make the right plays, they have to beat Langto, and they have to either beat me or Andre, because I think they can beat Mig. So they have to get 2 wins out of that 3 tough game schedule to get in. But once again, if they can play the right players, they have a chance.
Cecil?
For Cecil, Leonard needs to play. I think there's been 2 games now where Leonard has just not been able to play via suspensions, or one of them he was hurt. He really just needs him to play, because the way this league has gone so far, if 1 or 2 of your guys just goes absolutely off, you can win your game. He has Andre and Miggs for his next 2 games. He can get those 2 wins, but then he's got to get a win between me and Langto. He just has to get lucky and just get his studs to play in one of those 2 games, and he can easily get in. Not easily, but yeah. For Ibby, I have a little bit where he's got Vance and Reed. So if he beats Reed and he has a good chance, because I think he'll be decent in division. Vance has been trending down, so I think that's possible. But he has to beat the Jayhawks. I think that's a big deal. Joe, once again, Joe has just shown that he's all about that fourth quarter Jayhawks after dark. And if at one point in time it just doesn't work, he could get it. But I don't see him beating Arbob. So he's going to have to beat Joe and in that game. Other than that, I just don't see. Other than that, I don't see Miggs doing it. Utaro's going to have to win out, which is going to be real tough for him. And I don't see Jesse or Vance doing it either. I'm excited to see that playoff push when it's the last 2 or 3 weeks and Joe's posting all the crazy scenarios of how people get in. It's going to be fun watching that go down.
All right, then yeah, I think that's pretty much all we have to say. It's going to be a fun few weeks. There's a lot of games to be played, and I think this has to be one of the most competitive years we've had in quite a while. We usually have a lot of more top-heavy people. We only have 2 this year that are clear, early clinchers. So I think this is interesting. There's very few people who are out of it, and very few people who are clinched.
It's Langto and Arbob, and then it's just a fight between everybody else. All right, I'll see you next week, Kyle.
Eat a dick.